Hello, my name's Dr. Rob Yeung. I'm a performance psychologist and a coach at a consultancy called Talent Space. And I'd like to talk to you about how you can improve your business creativity, whether that's for you and a team that you manage, or perhaps just for you as an individual on your own. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the very popular technique called brainstorming. So the idea is that you try to generate as many ideas as you can. And the concept behind it is that by generating a large quantity of ideas, that ultimately the quality of the ideas should go up as well. However, employer and business school research tells us that this traditional form of brainstorming isn't actually terribly effective. So research over the last couple of decades has found that it's actually a better idea to get people, at least for a brief span of time, to generate ideas individually rather than talking them over. So if I'm working with a large team, typically I'll ask people to spend at least 5 or 10 minutes working individually in silence, perhaps writing down ideas on sticky notes. And then I'll get people to come together, perhaps in pairs or small groups of 3 or 4, to try and generate further ideas. And then I'll bring everyone together to see if they can come up with still just a few more ideas before they then spend some time prioritizing the ideas and deciding which ones to take forwards. So if you are trying to get ideas out of your team, I strongly recommend that you get people to think individually first, because that's the way to actually get some really creative ideas out of them. If you want to improve your personal creativity, one thing you can do is to understand the research on ambient noise. So there's a professor of consumer behavior called Ravi Mehta who has done some studies and found that people who are exposed to 70 decibels of background noise tend to be more creative than those exposed to 50 decibels of noise. To put that into context, 70 decibels of noise is roughly what you'd experience in a bustling coffee shop, whereas 50 decibels is a silent room, apart from perhaps a refrigerator humming away quietly in the background. The research team also looked at what higher levels of noise can do, and at 85 decibels of noise, so that's equivalent to a ringing alarm clock, they found that it tended to impair creativity. So if you're trying to be creative, then if you're in a noisy environment, perhaps you could wear headphones to try to block out some of the ambient noise around you. Whereas if you're in a very quiet office, then you might consider going to some public area, such as your office cafeteria or a local coffee shop, which is busy but not frantically busy, because what you want to do is just have a few little distractions in the background to perk up your creativity. Now, there is one further thing that you can do to boost your creativity, but I'd like to walk you through the science so you understand why this works. So a couple of researchers at Stanford University wondered whether doing just a little bit of light exercise, going for a walk, could boost creativity. So they got a large pool of participants and they split them into 4 separate groups. So what these researchers were cunningly doing with their experimental design was looking at 2 separate sets of factors, whether going for a walk versus sitting down could improve creativity, and whether just being outdoors versus indoors could increase creativity as well. As they suspected, the researchers found that going for a walk on the treadmill did indeed boost people's creativity. But so too did being sat in a wheelchair and being pushed around outside. So these were 2 separate effects. Going for a walk and being outdoors boosted creativity. But the biggest benefit came when you combined these 2 effects. So when people went for a walk outdoors, they came up with the most creative ideas. So the next time you're feeling frustrated that the ideas are not coming, then try to go for a walk inside your building perhaps, but even better, go for a walk outdoors.